All right, so today we're taking a deep dive into deepfakes and how they can be used in scams.
And we're going to be specifically looking at a case involving a UK energy company.
Yeah, this one was pretty crazy. The CEO of this company got tricked,
Tricked into sending $250,000.
all because of a deepfake voice, right?
Exactly.
So maybe we should take a step back and, like, for those who might not be totally familiar, what exactly are deepfakes?
So basically think about it like this. It's any media. It could be a video, it could be audio, that has been manipulated using AI
Okay.
to make it look like someone is saying or doing something that they never actually said or did.
Got it.
So in this case, they used AI to fake the CEO's voice.
To fake the CEO's voice.
Uh-huh.
Okay, and how exactly did they do that?
Well, scammers use what's called voice synthesis technology.
Voice synthesis.
Yeah, and basically what it does is it takes audio samples of a person's voice and then uses those to create a model that can mimic their speech patterns, their tone, everything.
So in this case, they were able to get audio of the CEO and then use that to basically create a copycat voice.
Yeah, and it was convincing enough to fool the UK's CEO.
And how did they actually use this deepfake voice to pull off the scam? What happened?
So the UK CEO received a phone call that appeared to be from the CEO of their parent company in Germany.
Okay.
And during the call, this fake CEO requested an urgent transfer of $243,000.
Wow. And the UK CEO just believed it.
Well, they made the request sound very urgent, claiming that there was some kind of issue with a supplier in Hungary.
So they used that sense of urgency to kind of pressure her into making a quick decision without thinking too much.
Exactly. It's a classic tactic, to kind of bypass any scrutiny or second guessing.
So how can companies protect themselves? Like, how can they avoid falling victim to this kind of scam?
Well, the Evidence Action IT department has actually been giving a lot of great advice on this. And one of the biggest things is to just establish really clear protocols, especially when it comes to financial transactions.
Yeah, especially big ones, right?
Exactly.
Like having multiple authorizations or something like that.
Exactly.
So no single person can just, like, send out a ton of money without any oversight.
Yeah, that's a great way to prevent it.
Okay, what else?
Well, another really important thing is to always verify requests through multiple channels.
So, like, if you get an email, requesting something, maybe call the person directly as well to confirm.
Exactly. Don't rely on just one single communication channel, especially if the request seems, unusual.
Right.
Or maybe it's something that's just totally out of character for that person.
So in this specific case, like, the UK CEO could have called the German CEO on a separate line that she already knew and, confirm that way.
Absolutely.
And I guess it's important to make sure that that number is actually a trusted number.
Yes, definitely. Not something that you just got from the suspicious communication. Like, you have to have it independently.
Okay. So basically, don't be afraid to double check, even if it takes a little extra time.
It's everything safe than sorry, right?
Absolutely. A few minutes could literally save you thousands of dollars in headaches.
Okay. Anything else companies should be thinking about?
Well, I think these days it's essential for all companies to have multi-factor authentication enabled.
Yeah, MFA.
Yeah, MFA, it adds an extra layer of security because you need more than just your password to access your accounts.
Right.
So even if someone were to get a hold of your password, they still wouldn't be able to access your account.
It's like an extra lock on the door, right? Makes it way harder to break in.
Exactly. And this is especially important for accounts that can authorize financial transactions.
Right.
That's where you need the most security.
Okay. So it sounds like, having clear protocols, verifying requests, and using MFA are some really good steps companies can take to protect themselves.
Yeah, those things can significantly reduce the risk.
Okay, good to know.
Right.
And are there any other examples of deepfake scams out there that we should be aware of? Oh, there are plenty. And they're getting more creative. Let's dive into some more examples in the next segment.
All right, I'm definitely ready to hear more. This is making me think twice about every email I get now.
Yeah, I think that's a good mindset to have because awareness is our best defense in this digital world.
Okay, so we talked about how companies can kind of protect themselves, but what about individuals? Are there deepfake scams out there that, like, target regular people?
Yeah, absolutely. Deepfakes aren't just a threat to corporations. They're being used to target individuals as well.
And how are they doing that?
Well, imagine you get a frantic video call
Okay.
from someone who looks and sounds exactly like your child.
Oh, that's terrifying.
They're crying and they say they've been kidnapped and they're begging you to send money for their release.
Oh my gosh. I can't even imagine the panic.
Exactly. And scammers totally prey on those raw emotions. They're counting on you to just react without thinking things through.
So do people actually fall for this?
Sadly, yes. It's happened more times than you'd think. The scammers use deepfakes to create incredibly realistic videos that can really fool anyone.
Wow. So what can people do to protect themselves from this kind of manipulation?
Well, I think the first and most important thing is just don't panic.
Okay.
Like, take a deep breath, try to think rationally.
Easier said than done, though, right?
I know. But it's crucial to remember that scammers rely on your fear to cloud your judgment.
So what should be the first step?
Well, try to verify the situations through other means, like call your child's phone or reach out to other family members or friends who might know where they are.
So basically, don't rely just on that one video call. Like, try to get more information from other sources.
Exactly. Like, look for other evidence before you do anything drastic.
Okay, and what if, like, you can't reach your child directly?
Ask specific questions that only your child would know the answer to.
Okay.
So if the person on the other end can't provide those details, that's a huge red flag.
So, like, I don't know, ask about a recent inside joke you had or a family memory or something.
Exactly. The scammers won't have access to that very specific personal information.
That's really good advice. It's just scary to think how vulnerable we are.
It is. It's a reminder that we need to be cautious and be critical thinkers in this digital age.
Absolutely.
You can't just take everything at face value.
Yeah, especially when it's, something as serious as a potential kidnapping.
Right. Always verify, always question, and don't hesitate to contact the authorities if you suspect something's wrong.
Okay, so we've covered scams targeting companies. We've covered scams targeting families. Are there any other types of deepfake scams that we should be on the lookout for?
Yeah, definitely. There's a whole world of deepfake trickery out there.
Okay.
And it's changing all the time as the technology gets more sophisticated.
So what other scams should we be aware of?
Well, one that's becoming more and more common is deepfakes in job scams.
Job scams. How does that work?
So let's say you're applying for a job, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you get invited for a video interview.
Okay. Yeah.
But here's the twist. The interviewer you see on the other end of the screen,
Yeah.
deepfake.
They're using AI to, like, impersonate a real recruiter.
Exactly. They may even use deepfake audio to make the voice sound super convincing.
Wow. And what's the point of this scam? Like, what are they trying to get?
Well, usually personal information. They might ask you for things like your social security number or bank details,
Yay.
maybe other sensitive information. And they'll, present it as part of a background check or something.
So they're like preying on people who are already in a vulnerable position.
Yeah. Yeah. They're desperate for a job and maybe they let their guard down.
Right. And they often target people who are applying for remote jobs.
Yeah, exactly. Because face-to-face interaction is, much less common in those situations.
Yeah. This is just awful. So what can job seekers do? Like, how can they protect themselves from these deep fake interview scams?
The key is just to be extra, extra vigilant.
Okay.
During the whole job application process. Do your research, check out the company's website, their LinkedIn profiles, look for reviews.
So just really do your due diligence.
Exactly. If something feels off about the company or the interview process, trust your gut.
Okay, that makes sense. What about the interview itself? Are there any red flags to watch out for there?
Yeah, just pay attention to the little details. Does the interviewer seem overly scripted or robotic?
Okay.
Are there any glitches in their appearance, any inconsistencies?
Okay.
And most importantly, never give out any personal information until you are absolutely sure that the company and the job opportunity are legit.
So if they ask for your social security number right off the bat, that's a red flag.
Oh, yeah. Huge. A real recruiter would never ask for that in an initial interview.
Okay, good to know.
Yeah.
So is there anything else that job seekers can do to stay safe?
If you have any doubts, about the legitimacy of the interview, just don't hesitate to request a quick live video call just to verify their identity.
So like a short chat just to confirm that they're an actual real person, not a deepfake.
Yeah, exactly. You could even ask them to, do something simple like show you the current date on a piece of paper just to prove that they're live and in the moment.
That's actually pretty smart. I'm going to remember that one.
And as always, use secure, trusted platforms for video interviews. Stick to things like Google Meet, Slack, or Zoom.
Okay, so no shady, unknown video conferencing apps.
Yeah, exactly. Better safe than sorry.
Okay. This has been really insightful. It's just crazy how scammers are using this technology.
I know, and it really highlights just how careful we need to be.
Yeah, absolutely. We can't just assume that what we're seeing and hearing online is real.
Exactly. We all need to be critical thinkers and, take those extra steps to verify information.
Well, we've covered a lot of ground already on deepfake scams, but there's definitely still more to explore. We've talked a lot about the dangers of deepfakes, but is there any hope? Like, are there any solutions to combat this threat?
Oh, yeah, there's definitely hope. And that's what's so important about this conversation. We're not powerless against this technology.
Okay, good. So what's being done to fight back?
Well, on the tech side, there's been a ton of progress in developing detection tools.
Like software that can analyze a video and tell if it's a deepfake.
Exactly. These tools use AI algorithms to look for those little inconsistencies.
Oh, like the glitches we talked about, the weird eye movements and stuff.
Exactly. Things that a human might miss, but AI can pick up on.
So AI is being used to both create deepfakes and to detect them.
It's a bit of an arms race, but that's how it always goes with technology, right?
So the good guys are using the same tools, but for good.
You got it. And these detection tools are getting better all the time.
What about things like blockchain? I've heard that could be a solution. How would that work?
So blockchain is basically a tamper-proof digital ledger, and it can be used to track the origin and authenticity of media.
So like a digital fingerprint for a video or audio file.
Exactly. If everything had a unique identifier on a blockchain, it would be way harder to pass off deepfakes.
Because you could trace it back and see if it's been altered.
Exactly. It would make everything more transparent.
That sounds really promising.
Yeah.
Are there any downsides to using blockchain?
It would require a major shift in how we create and share media. It's not a quick fix.
Then not something that's going to happen overnight.
Right. But it has a lot of potential. The more we explore these solutions, the better off we'll be.
So we've got the tech side. What about legally? Are there any laws to address deepfakes?
Yeah, that's definitely evolving. A lot of countries are trying to figure out the legal side of things.
What kind of laws are we talking about?
Some are about protecting people from having their likeness used in deepfakes without their consent.
So like someone can't make a deepfake video of me without my permission.
Exactly. Be more critical.
Are there any other legal things being considered?
Some lawmakers want to hold social media platforms responsible for deepfakes on their sites.
Because they should prevent harmful content.
Right. But there's debate about how far that responsibility goes.
It's complicated for sure.
It is, but the fact that we're having these conversations is a good sign.
It means we're taking it seriously.
The more we understand about deepfakes, the better we can handle them.
This has been an amazing look at the world of deepfakes.
We've covered a lot, from the tech to the scams to the solutions.
I was a little freaked out at first, but now I feel more informed.
That's the goal. We have the power to fight back against this. We just need to be aware and use the tools we have.
So what's the main takeaway for our listeners?
Be skeptical. Be vigilant. Verify everything. And don't be afraid to question what you see online.
Great advice. Thanks for being here.
It's been a pleasure. The more we all know, the better off we'll be.
And to our listeners, thanks for joining us on this deep dive into deepfakes. Stay curious, stay informed, and stay safe out there.